Hi traders and welcome to the weekly market review. I'm your host Paul. This is where I use wave analysis to look at the charts and see where price might be headed. In this video we're going to look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, some select stocks, and Bitcoin. So let's get started. And we'll start with the upcoming economic calendar. So this week, or I should say next week, will be a mostly light week on the data points. There's just going to be one major day that the market will be tuned into. So next week, nothing really going on. Not until Wednesday. You got FOMC minutes coming out. As usual, shouldn't be any big surprises in there, but the market will react. And then what starts now is Wednesday and Thursday, Jackson Hole. So all the Fed governors will be meeting and obviously talking about when the first rate cut should happen. So Friday is I think the big day. That's when Powell will be giving his speech after those 2 days. And that will be, markets will be wild that morning or maybe all day. So I think that's going to be the big one. Everyone wants to know, are they cutting in September? And we'll see if he gives any indication one way or the other. Do have new home sales also on Friday, but that's about it. I mean, the PMI, the numbers, while important, I think everything is just going to be revolving on what Powell says. So I think data-wise, pretty light week. All right, let's get on to the charts. I'm going to start with the S&P. This is the futures contract. And from the Monday low, the fifth low, simply just have a 1-2 and then just took off like a rocket here. So looking very impulsive to me. And I'm looking for a pullback for the 4, but we don't even know if the third wave is done because this last little piece here, it looks to me like there's only 3 waves, like 1, 2, 3. So I'm kind of expecting them to still go up a little bit more. But if the top is in for the third wave, 55.86, then should be getting a correction down into this purple zone, 54.31 up to 90. But like I said, I think this third wave probably isn't even quite done yet, which means this purple zone will be moving up accordingly. But I'm only looking for buy setups. And if for some reason you're not already in, you'll get a chance because there has to be a correction for fourth wave before it goes up for the fifth wave. And if we zoom all the way out, we're so close to, the S&P is only 2.33% away from breaking its high. So this should be a 5-wave move here. So 1, 2, and at some point you'll get a 3, or the 3 will finish, pull back for 4, and then go up for that 5th and final wave up. So you'll get an opportunity if you're not already in. Just got to wait for a decent sized correction. And then that becomes very, very much buyable. And then when we look at the Nasdaq, it's going to be the exact same thing. All we have is a 1 and a 2, and then just rip higher. And it's already blown through this red zone that I've had. And I am not expecting any correction down, so I'm going to actually just take that off. Now the Nasdaq did pull back a little bit more. So the third wave could be in, and if that's the case, then I'm expecting a drop down into this 18.9 to 19.2 range for the 4, and then go back up for the 5th wave. And then it'll be very interesting. Will the Nasdaq, the 5th wave, will it go all the way up to break? I don't think it will, which would be significant, because then that tells me that the Nasdaq has a lot more to go. Because if this is all going to be just one wave, wherever it ends, at some point then you're going to get a correction down for 2, and then it's going to be going up for 3, 4, and 5. So the Nasdaq looks like it's telling us that it could be making a really big 5-wave move. Might take some time though. Where the S&P is really close to breaking its all-time high. So this will be interesting to see how these two play out. But yeah, just like the S&P, not expecting, only looking for buys, and I think you'll be able to get it on a short correction for the 4th wave before it resumes back up. So only looking for buys on the Nasdaq. And I'm just going to run through some stocks because, as I see the market is going to be going to break its high, obviously then that's what I see on a lot of these stocks. So, here's Amazon. So it came up for 3, crashed down last Monday for 4, and now it's going to be going up for its 5th wave. Look at Apple. To me, this looks very much like an ending diagonal. You had this ABC for 1. There's 2. Set the 3rd wave here in July. Last Monday's low is 4. And then it should be going up to break its high for an ending diagonal. So break that 237 one more time. Could look at Netflix. I mean, I see this all as 3. Last Monday was 4, and it's going to go up for its 5th wave. So, a lot of the major stocks are looking like they got to go break their high one more time. The one that I'm not so sure about is Microsoft. It's got a lot more to go just to get up to its high. Just under 12% more. So this one I'm not. I looked at it. There's a couple ways I can count this. And this was a much bigger drop than most. It could be that Microsoft actually topped already. I'm leaving it as 3 and 4, but it's possible that Microsoft's already starting its correction, because this was a much bigger drop, and it would have a lot more to go. So we'll have to watch on Microsoft. That's the only one I'm not sure about. But I mean, it's obviously looking like the rest of the market, it really took off, and it needs a pullback at some point, but it could be very viable because you're not going to have any divergence yet. So it could be some type of correction, and at least still one more up. And we'll just have to see if they are able to get to their top. Look at NVDA. As I've been having this one labeled, for a while, had this as 3, just came to the top of this zone for 4 and really exploded this week. So just like the Nasdaq itself, it looks very impulsive to me, and all we have so far is a 1, 2, and a 3. So I'm expecting a pullback, and if 125 is the end of the 3rd wave, it should be pulling back into this 114, 118 range for the 4, and then resume up for the fifth wave, and then it'll be just a matter of, do they break it on the high on this attempt, or is this all just going to be 5 ways up to here, before it corrects and then resumes back up. So that'll be the only question. So that's why I'm thinking that the third wave probably isn't in on a lot of these. So that this third wave will be a little bit higher, and then you correct down for 4, and then it'll be much easier for them to go break the top on that fifth wave. And Zscaler. Now Zscaler too is another one. I'll go out to the daily on this one. I don't think that Zscaler is going to be going up to its all-time high either, just like Microsoft, because that'd be a 35% move from where it is right now. So Zscaler, while it looks really good and it just blew right through this red zone, I'm going to take that off too. That's irrelevant. I think it's really good that they'll go and break this 208. And then at that point, I think the market itself will probably be at all-time highs. So that's why I don't think Zscaler is going to make its high. I think they're just making a much bigger correction because this was just a simple 1, 2, like a 3-wave move. So this could end up just being a 1, 2, 3. And then they're going to come back down when the rest of the market makes its bigger correction. So Zscaler, it still has good upside potential of 8% probably. But I wouldn't be buying it right here either, just like the rest of the market. If it's making like a 1, 2, at some point we should get a pullback for 4 before it goes back up for 5. So I'd wait for that pullback, just like everything else. And then actually that, any pullback is just going to give you more, because from where it is right now is 8% to break the top. So if it pulls back 2% or so, you've got 10% upside. All right, so that's the stocks. I just wanted to run right through. They're all, to me, looking the same. So not unless someone has a stock that they're following, I can take a look at if you want to give me for next time. But I think all the major stocks are going to be having the same outcome in the next coming weeks, that they'll be marching to break their highs. All right, so let's look at Bitcoin then. So Bitcoin, I thought, could have been going up in a diagonal. You had an ABC, and then you had an ABC down, and it was starting to go up. And it was looking like it was creating another diagonal going up, and then all of a sudden it just sold off hard. So there's several patterns that are in play, as I've been saying. I mean, this could be making just a massive impulse to the downside. So this could be 1, 2, and then this could be 1, 2, and then this could be 1 and 2, and then eventually it's just going to fall through, and we're going to get a 3, 4, and a 5, and then another correction up for 4, but then still more down for 5. So I mean, Bitcoin could be in the process of making just a massive correction, probably getting down into this lower green box, in the upper 20s, mid 30s. So we got to see. So now all of a sudden, it looks very much like they're making a leading diagonal. They're hitting a lot of targets here. Zoom in. So obviously you got 3 down to there, 3 down to here, right into the blue box, which is perfect. And then they came up today and just poked out of this purple zone, which is the perfect zone for a 4 of a diagonal. Just kind of pushed up a little bit and then started to really sell off now. So what I'm watching is this level now. This level, 59,871, that should not get broken again, because then that's not a 4. And so if they break that, if they go back up before breaking this low, the 3 low, then all of a sudden it does start to look a little bullish, because then you'd have this ABC, and that could be very, very well be 1, and then you would just have a 1, two 3-wave correction, and that can be 2. They got really close to that green zone, which would be the perfect zone if they're going to make a 2. And so if this comes back up and breaks 59,871, they very well could be going up for the third wave, and they'll break that 62 again. So Bitcoin's in an interesting spot right here because it can go either way. They're either making a leading diagonal, and so if they come back down and break 56,120 again, then you'll have 5 waves, and it'll look very much like a leading diagonal, which tells me then that you'll get a correction up, but then there's still more down to come, and then all those downside targets really come into play. But if they do break this 59,871, then I would not be looking to short Bitcoin because it could start to really take off here. So yeah, it's in an interesting spot. If you're not already in it, in between these two levels, it's hard to trade. It's a coin flip from where it is right now. Not unless you have strong conviction and you're going to use like a tight stop loss. I would just wait for one of these levels to break. Either give you 5 waves down, and then you know that there's probably more to come after a correction up, or let it break this high, and then all of a sudden now this looks really good for them to at least go break 62 again. All right, so that's what I see on the market. Hope it helps. Thanks for your likes and support. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.